All right, how's it going, folks? I've mentioned, when I tell my story to other people, my 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 upbringing, it's very very. I won't say it's the best, but it's I shouldn't be the way I am today based on my upbringing and the suburb that I stayed, my academia level that I did. I shouldn't be the way I am today. I was very fortunate enough. The way how I fight for it and not struggle, and how my thought process is different. But let's talk about post divorce. I think the easiest part for a mum and dad or a family to do is to go through divorce. I know many people says, well, that's just stupid, William. That means he has to lose a house, he has to, lose the car or the kids as well. I said that is the most easiest thing to do ever. With the court case, you can go through a lot of court case. And that's why I said you go for a lot of court case after court case until both party is satisfied. Then yeah, there's no more court case, alright? Whatever the house or whatever, and everything selling it off, this and that. And I know for me to say it is very bluntly so, very there's no tension about it, because you just go through, you split it up. Of course, you have to pay child support. This is where it becomes a problem, right? Post divorce it's a warfare. All right, everything is settled, but you have to pay child support, and it's a very difficult for a man to find another family or someone, and then same as for the woman as well. But it's a lot more difficult for a single mom to go out to find a date, because a lot of guys will use them to pump and dump because you have two kids or one kid already with another man, and let's just say the father, it has to go through child support and process all these trauma that they lost their house, family, everything that they earned, they fought for, and it's all down the drain. Now he has to pay child support, and maybe 50% his income or more has to go through, and it's hard to establish a man's life after that or get back on his feet. Maybe a lot of alcoholism or whatever, X, Y, and Z. And the single mother can be dating, can be having a fling, having a good time. She's thinking that she's winning because she has all this stuff. I don't need to have a crappy husband behind my back tell me what to do, X, Y, and Z. Whatever the situation is, I'm not going to get into details. But the warfare that I'm talking about is the single mother will manipulate your kids and hating your father because father is X, Y, and Z. And not only just that, when you do weekend visits, and obviously the mothers will play the game whether you're able to come near the kids, right? And make it more sour of the relationship and usage, where the mum can play the game. She's playing along the game. What is the best way to get as much money you can? Maybe you can ask him to get continue to that money. Maybe like, oh, go to private school, or funds for this and that, where a man can or will not access with the child. But even if they access a child, they could see the pain of the child that being manipulated, whether one side or the other, whether the man side manipulated or the father or the mother side will manipulate the child. The child is in the limbo. They don't know what's wrong, what's right. They just listen and heard. And I see the same thing with my mate who went through, I would say, de facto separation during lockdown. The way how his partner, like, just literally just manipulating the kids to hating on the father. And that's why I said, the warfare, it goes even deeper. Well, it's either they can play games whether they pick up the kids or not pick up the kids during the week or during the day. Pick up the kids during, after school. I'm working. You have to pick up kids. That means you have to drop all your work and go pick up the kids out of nowhere. Or they go to holiday, they don't tell you, they don't inform you. There's a lot of war games. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of hatred. And this is blame on the government is allowing to do that, because after divorce, a guy have to go through, there's a high rate of suicide and mental health. And me as a kid who has lived through, lucky my mother lived in Victoria and my dad lived in Sydney. And it's very hard because imagine if I was divorced and staying in Melbourne, it's going to be very hard to play because it's just that thing notion behind and the power over you. And your power over you there's no power. Then she's going to put an intervention order. You can't see your kids anymore. Once the intervention order is finished, then you try to see your kid. It doesn't work the same way. So there's a lot of war back and forth just to have the money gain, the power gain, whether she's out, whether she's having a good time. Maybe she remarried during that time. Maybe she's not. Even if she remarried, why do you want to see the ex-husband? It's like, are you having a fling with my wife? And, and the way how your kid is being brought up by the stepfather or stepmother, it can be a form of like abuse on them because that's not their child. They don't care, you know. I'm married to that single mother. So what? She deserves it like that. So there's a lot of war on the kid. And the kid is just whether to grow up normal or not normal, in that sort of dysfunctional family and emotional stress. And when she has a phone, she communicates with the father what's been happening, and it's just on and going trauma and war and never ends. And you can see its statistics. Those who are divorced, single child, the child is left in a limbo. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. Um, yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say. Like it never ends. At when later age or the child turn 18 or maturely, maybe mid 20s or in their 30s, they start to realize how much damage they went through and how much hatred against mum or dad in a particular area what they're trying to do just to win their heart, power and money. And that's how you destroy a family when you go through a divorce. This is the pain that you had to go through, that you were born into, that you wasn't forced into. And, they didn't care. And that's why I said, divorce, it may benefit the husband and the wife going their separate ways, but it doesn't benefit the child because the child is in a limbo. And unfortunately, in today's world, divorce, there's no consequences. Divorce in Australia is 43%. Mental health is just skyrocketed, whether mental health they use on the woman's side and the man's side as well. And plus you have the welfare and as well the social services supporting more of the woman's side and feeding them the wrong information to make it even more sour to get more money and power. When I studied social work, I wanted to get in there to repair families, but little did I know, the more I separate the families, the more work do I get in this field. So that's about it, and that's my take on post divorce.